All right, today we're talking about a tool that promises to give your spreadsheets, well, a brain. If you're someone who practically lives in Google Sheets and you're curious about AI, this one's for you. Let's dive right in. Okay, so picture this, because I'm sure you've been there. You've got your Google Sheet open, all your data laid out. Then, in another browser tab, you've got your favorite AI chatbot. And what are you doing? You're flip-flopping, back and forth, writing a prompt, copying the result, pasting it back, and then spending the next few minutes just fighting the formatting. It's that copy-paste chaos, right? So frustrating.
Yeah, that whole dance, that's what we're calling the spreadsheet struggle. It's that super inefficient, click-heavy process that just, slowly eats away at your time and maybe a little bit of your sanity.
When you actually break it down, it's this annoying four-step shuffle. You toggle over to the AI tab, you write out the perfect prompt, you copy the answer, then you jump back, paste it in, and wrestle with the formatting. Each one of those clicks doesn't feel like much on its own, but they add up fast. It turns what should be a quick job into a total drag. And that is the exact problem that a tool like SheetAI is built to solve. So what's the solution? How do we fix this mess? Well, what if you didn't have to leave your spreadsheet at all? What if you could just put the AI directly inside of it? That's the whole idea here. It's about giving your spreadsheet its own brain. So what is it really? SheetAI is basically a Google Sheets add-on. It plugs generative AI right into the cells of your sheet. So instead of all that tab hopping, you just type a simple function. Think about how you type equals sum to add things up. It's just like that, but for AI. The AI does all the work for you, right there, exactly where you need the answer. And look, this isn't some brand new, untested thing. We're talking about almost 140,000 installs from the Google Workspace Marketplace. That's a lot of people. It just goes to show you there is a real hunger for this kind of built-in automation. And you can see why when you look at what real users are saying. Take this feedback from Sarah Johnson. She says it's revolutionized how she works and saves her, quote, hours of manual work every week. Hours every week. That tells you this isn't just a cool party trick. It's a serious productivity tool for people who are actually in the trenches with their data. Okay, so that all sounds pretty great in theory, but how does the magic actually happen? Let's pull back the curtain and look at the core functions that really make this thing tick. First up, let's talk about brainstorming. The first key function is called SheetAI List, and you can think of it like your own personal brainstorming partner, just sitting there waiting for you inside your spreadsheet. It's so simple. You just type the formula equals SheetAI_list and then give it a prompt, like give me 10 marketing slogans for a new coffee shop. And boom, it just instantly fills the cells right below with 10 different ideas, each one in its own row. No copy, no paste, no fuss, it just happens. And you can immediately see how useful this is, right? If you're a marketer, you're generating blog titles. A founder, you're brainstorming product names. In sales, you're coming up with topics for outreach emails. It's just a massive time saver for that kind of creative work. But okay, what if you don't need a whole list of things? Well, for those times when you just need one quick answer to, say, fill in a blank or enrich some data, there's another function for that. That one is SheetISK. It's built for those single one-off questions. You just type your question right into the formula, and the answer pops up right there in that one cell. It's super direct, super efficient, especially when you're trying to flesh out a data set. And this thing is seriously versatile. Sure, you can use it to define a word or translate a phrase, but where it really shines is with cleaning up messy data. Just imagine, you have a whole column of dates, but they're all in different formats. Nightmare, right? Well, with this, you could write one little formula, drag it down, and standardize the whole column in like 2 seconds. That's a game changer. Okay, so it's a powerful tool, no doubt. But now for the big question. Is it right for you? Let's get real for a minute and talk about who this is perfect for, and just as important, who should probably give this one a pass. So we heard from a marketer earlier,
But here's another angle. This is from a data analyst, Mike Chen, who also calls it a game changer, but for extracting insights. This is great because it shows it's not just for creative brainstorming. It's also for people who need to quickly classify and make sense of raw data. So this leads to a pretty clear choice. You should go with SheetAI if what you really want is the absolute fastest, simplest way to run AI tasks right inside your sheets. On-the-fly stuff. But if you need more complex, pre-built templates for your workflows, you might want to look at a competitor like GPT for Work. It really comes down to a choice. Do you want agility and speed, or do you want a more structured, pre-packaged solution? And let's be super clear about who this is not for. First, if you're a total beginner with spreadsheets, like you're still getting comfortable with the equal sum function, this is probably not for you. Adding AI into the mix is just going to be too much. And on the other end of the spectrum, if you're a data scientist who needs to do deep statistical analysis, this isn't it either. You should be using proper BI platforms for that kind of heavy lifting. This is a text generation tool, not a stats package. Okay, so we've looked at the problem, we've seen how it works, and we've talked about who it's for. Let's wrap this all up and get to the final verdict. All right, let's talk money. First thing to know, there's no free forever plan, although you might find a trial. The main plan for individuals and professionals is the premium one, and that'll run you about $8 a month. If you're an agency or a real power user, they have an unlimited plan, but you'll have to contact them for pricing on that. So yeah, it's a pretty straightforward subscription for a pretty specialized tool. So when you boil it all down, SheetAI is really for that person who is just so tired of the copy-paste dance and wants to put AI right where they're already working. It's all about speed, it's about efficiency, it's about finally giving that spreadsheet a brain. And that really brings us to the final question I want to leave you with. Think about your own day-to-day work. What's the very first, most tedious task that you would automate with something like this?